Let me tell you.
My registration.
Evening, ma'am. License and registration.
Officer, can I ask what
Got
this
a couple
is about?
calls saying you were driving reckless. Step by step, keep your hands where I can see them.
I was just leaving my shift. I'm parked, not going anywhere.
Go ahead and hand me that license slowly.
It's in my front pocket. I'm reaching for it.
Hold
okay?
up. Leave it right there.
I'm not a threat to you, sir.
The body camera turned on with a sharp click at 7:42 p.m., right as the blue lights washed over a teal sedan trapped between painted parking lines at a Walmart in rural Georgia. Inside that car sat a black woman in blue scrubs, her hands shaking around a phone. Outside her window stood a white police officer with his chest puffed out, his voice already raised, his hand tight on his belt. "You almost ran people over," he said loud enough for strangers to hear. "Step out of the vehicle. Now." What the camera caught next would light up social media, break open a town's lies, and leave a police department scrambling for cover. Because the woman in that car wasn't reckless, she wasn't violent, and she wasn't who the officer thought she was. And before this night was over, the same camera recording her fear would also record the end of his power. Before we go any deeper into this story, take 1 second and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss stories like this. And drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. These stories matter everywhere. "Ma'am," I said, "get out of the car." The officer leaned closer, his shadow swallowing the open window. The smell of heat and hot rubber filled the air. A small crowd had started to form near the shopping carts. "I didn't hit anyone," the woman said softly. "I just parked." Her name was Imani Jefferson. Officer Clayton Rourke laughed under his breath. A short, sharp sound. The kind of laugh that says he'd already decided who she was. "Funny," he said. "Because we got multiple calls about a black woman driving crazy through this lot." He put extra weight on the words black woman. Imani swallowed. Her phone camera stayed up. The red record dot blinked. "I work 12-hour shifts," she said. "I just got off." Rourke cut her off. "Don't give me excuses. People like you always got excuses." The word "you" landed hard. Imani Jefferson didn't look dangerous. She was 27. Slim. Hair pulled back into a neat braided bun. Her scrubs were faded from too many washes. Her shoes were scuffed. The teal sedan she drove had a dent in the rear bumper and a cracked taillight she'd been saving to fix. She worked nights as a nursing student at Pine Ridge Medical Center, 40 minutes away. She helped feed her younger brother. She paid her bills on time. She had never been arrested. Never even gotten a speeding ticket. She believed in staying calm. In keeping her voice low. Her mother taught her that "don't give them a reason," her mom always said. So Imani sat still. Both hands visible. Phone shaking but steady enough to record. She didn't know yet that the man yelling at her had already written a story about her in his head. Rourke stepped back and waved another officer closer. "Watch her hands," he said loud enough for the crowd. "She's real jumpy." Imani felt her chest tighten. "I'm recording for my safety," she said. Rourke's jaw clenched. "You don't need to record if you ain't doing nothing wrong." That lie sat heavy in the air. A woman near the entrance whispered, "What did she do?" A man shrugged. "Probably something." Rourke leaned in again. His voice dropped low, sharp like a knife. "You know how this ends if you don't cooperate." Imani's eyes flicked to his gun. Then back to his face. "I am cooperating," she said. "Not good enough," he snapped. "Step out." She didn't move. "I don't feel safe," she said. "Please call your supervisor." That did it. Rourke straightened up, red creeping up his neck. "See," he said to the crowd. Defiant. Aggressive. Aggressive. A word that had followed black women like a shadow for generations. He reached for his radio. "Dispatch, I need backup. Possible assault with a vehicle." Imani's mouth fell open. "That's not true." "Calm down," he barked. "Stop yelling." She hadn't raised her voice once. Sirens wailed in the distance. Blue lights flashed off windshields and store signs. Imani's phone caught everything. The way his finger tapped his holster. The way his eyes never softened. The way no one stopped him. A teenage boy whispered, "Damn." An older man crossed his arms and looked away. Rourke paced. "You people think you can do whatever you want." Imani's breathing slowed. She closed her eyes for half a second. Then she spoke. "My father taught me to stay calm when men like you get loud." Rourke scoffed. "Your father should have taught you how to drive." Something in her voice made him pause. Just for a beat. He didn't ask why she said it like that. A black SUV rolled into the lot and parked nearby. Government plates. No sirens. Two men stepped out. Suits. Not local. They didn't rush. They watched. Imani saw them in her mirror. Her shoulders eased just a little. Rourke didn't notice. He was too busy proving control. Last chance, he said. Out. Now. Imani looked him straight in the eye. I will not step out without a supervisor present. The crowd murmured. Rourke's hand hovered near his weapon. That's when one of the suited men spoke. Officer. His voice was calm. Clear. Rourke spun around. This is an active investigation. The man held up a badge. Not police. Federal. Then you might want to slow down, he said. Because you're on camera. All of them. He nodded toward Imani's phone. Then the officer's body cam. Then a dozen other phones now raised in the crowd. Rourke's confidence cracked. Just a hair. Who are you? He demanded. The man didn't answer yet. He looked at Imani instead. With respect. Miss Jefferson, he said. Are you all right? Her eyes filled, but she didn't cry. I am, she said. Thank you. Rourke froze. How do you know her name? He snapped. The second man stepped forward. Because, he said, you stopped the wrong person. The air shifted. Thick. Heavy. Sirens grew louder. And for the first time since the blue lights came on, Officer Clayton Rourke looked unsure. The sirens didn't rush in screaming like before. They slowed, like even they felt something was wrong. Officer Clayton Rourke stood stiff in the Walmart parking lot, his boots planted, his jaw tight. The two men in suits didn't raise their voices. They didn't touch him. They didn't rush. They didn't need to. The crowd had grown now. People leaned on carts. Phones were up. The air felt thick like a storm right before it breaks. Imani Jefferson stayed in her seat. Both hands still visible. Her phone still recording. The man with the calm voice took one slow step closer to her car.
Imani, he said again, softer now. You don't have to say anything else. Rourke snapped. Sir, step back. This woman is being detained. The man turned to him. Looked him up and down. Not angry. Just tired. Officer, he said, you've already said too much. Rourke laughed, sharp and fake. You some kind of lawyer? The man reached inside his jacket. The crowd leaned in. He pulled out a badge. Black leather. Gold seal. Not local, not state. Federal. My name is Elias Monroe, he said. Office of the Inspector General. A murmur rolled through the crowd. Rourke's smile slipped. And this, Elias continued, gesturing to the second man, is Deputy Director Sam Calder. Calder nodded once. His eyes never left Rourke. Rourke cleared his throat. Why are you here? Elias didn't answer right away. He turned back to Imani. Miss Jefferson, he said, do you consent to us speaking on your behalf? Imani swallowed. Her voice was steady. Yes. That single word felt heavy. Rourke's radio crackled. Supervisor en route. Too late. Elias finally faced Rourke again. You said you had multiple calls, he said. We pulled them. Rourke stiffened. That's confidential. Elias smiled, but it wasn't kind. 2 calls, he said. Both from the same number. A man who lost his job last month after Ms. Jefferson reported him for harassment. The crowd gasped. Imani's hands trembled just a little. Rourke's face flushed red. That's irrelevant. No, Calder said quietly. It's motive. Rourke opened his mouth. Elias kept going. You accused her of trying to run people over, he said. But security footage shows her car never went above 5 miles per hour. Rourke looked around. Cameras everywhere. And, Elias added, you never asked her for license or registration. Silence. You went straight to threat language, Elias said. Weapon posture. Raised voice. False claims. Rourke's voice cracked. She refused to comply. Imani finally spoke. I asked for a supervisor, she said, because I was scared. Her words were simple. Honest. The crowd shifted. People looked at Rourke now. Really looked. Elias took a breath. There's something else, he said. He turned to the crowd, then back to the camera on Rourke's chest. Imani Jefferson is not just a nursing student. Rourke frowned. She is a former Army combat medic, Elias said. Decorated. 2 tours overseas. Saved 16 lives under fire. The parking lot went silent. Imani's eyes dropped. She never bragged. Never needed to. She left the service after pulling a wounded officer out of a burning vehicle, Calder added. With shrapnel in her leg. Rourke stared at her. And tonight, Elias said, she was on her way home from volunteering at a free clinic. The words hit hard. Rourke's shoulders sagged. You assumed, Elias said, voice firm now, that control meant truth. The supervisor arrived then. Captain Harold Vance. Gray hair. deep lines in his face. He took one look at Elias's badge. "Officer Rourke," Vance said, "step away from the vehicle." Rourke hesitated. "Now." Rourke stepped back. Vance turned to Imani. His voice was careful, respectful. "Ma'am," he said, "I apologize." Imani nodded once. Vance turned back to Rourke. "You're relieved of duty. Effective immediately." The words landed like a hammer. "What?" Rourke shouted. "You can't." "Hand over your weapon," Vance said. Rourke looked around. No one met his eyes. He unclipped his gun with shaking hands. Phones caught it all. Elias spoke one last time. "This footage will be reviewed," he said, "and released." Rourke's face drained of color. The crowd broke into whispers. Some shook their heads. Some cried. A woman stepped forward. "I'm sorry," she said to Imani. "I should have said something." Imani smiled, small and tired. "It's okay," she said. "You did now." Elias walked her to her car door. "You didn't deserve any of that," he said. Imani looked out at the lot, at the lights, at the people. "I know," she said. She turned off her phone. The red dot disappeared. For the first time that night, she exhaled. Before she drove away, Captain Vance asked, "Is there anything we can do?" Imani thought for a moment. "Yes," she said. "Do better when no one is watching." She closed the door. The engine started. And the teal sedan rolled out of the lot, quiet and steady, leaving behind a lesson no siren could drown out. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel for more stories that matter, and tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were standing in that parking lot? Your voice matters.